Oh, good evening. I'm putting this on the tubes and not on the talks. Um, I just washed my makeup off, so of course I've got smeared, and this boy is being very clingy. I need to talk about some downloaded information, and it's coming out. I'm gonna tap in. I downloaded a video from a creator on the talk. Um, what is her name? Hold on, let me go find her name. She's called The Enemy from Within. She claims to have a deep state employee friend. Whether she does or not, that's here, we don't know. But what she's been saying is what I think a lot of the psychic people have been saying about whys, right? I've been talking about the break it to fix it, the break it to fix it, the break it to fix it. And it's going to be painful, but it's like something that had to be done because apparently it goes back to 91. They probably got word about this Dumpty being recruited back in 87. I'm sure they've been following him. Yes, and JoJo's very clingy tonight. So I just want to say I have been feeling Dumpty's energy change. He's no longer a useful idiot. He's gone dark. He has now shifted. I feel, and so does JoJo, because he's feeling me feel it. He is looking at doing the Night of Broken Glass. And if you don't know what the Night of the Broken Glass is, you need to go look that up. I feel him chomping at the bit to go and round up every Democrat, past and present, and anybody that has said anything against him, past and present. And or just put him away for a while and then and I feel as though his handlers are like, no, it's not time yet, trying to like hold him back, hold like their hardest to hold him back. He really just wants to do this. There is a video of a meeting today or yesterday, the briefing, and Dumpty was on his phone, distracted like a child, while Muskie Boy was talking, which is the president's role, to be leading that meeting. But right now, Dumpty Man just wants to do damage to his people that have talked against him. And I feel it's prompting insiders to go, okay, we're getting close to the time. We are getting close to the time because we can't let him do that. The cuts are going too deep. They're getting to the bone, close to the bone. And no. I made a video on my other channel because I have discovered that if you get a large following, they start watching. Creators that have low numbers, followers, under 500, you'll see them say some pretty obnoxious things and out loud things where you go, why can they say that? I can't say that. They're just not worth watching because they're not getting the attention. I did wait all day because I made that this morning. I said, with the cartoon face and cartoon voice, and made it short and sweet, that the federal budget that just passed the House and will be moving to the Senate for a vote is a federal eugenics program to eliminate the parasite class, as Muskie Boy would say, which is the old and anybody with a disability, including VA, including veterans, all of it. And the suffering. I want you to put on your thinking caps and go to the dark places. 65 million people suddenly lose their health insurance and no way to get any more. 65 million people. That's just Social Security and Medicare. So we'll just use that number, 65 million, because it's more. 65 million people suddenly have to leave their nursing home because their nursing home was paid for by Medicaid. How many nursing homes are going to instantly fail? Because number one, they can't have they don't have patients to fill their rooms who can pay, and they are literally kicking people on the street, people who can't care for themselves. We will see thousands of people on the street dying, actively dying, starving, millions of people. What churches will try to rush in and help, and families will try to rush in and help, but there's a lot of people without families. We will see human suffering on a level that we are not prepared for, people. They want to shock our systems so bad. And I feel like they know this will be an incendiary action. And they want that too. This is about Rasputina and causing complete destruction of our country. This isn't about Dumpty being president. It goes so much deeper than that. So much deeper. It's not about Christo-fascists. It's not about the Christian nationalists wanting to be in power, although the power vacuum they will take up. We're talking scraping. Our country is so big. It's unprecedented. You can't predict off of models of what happened in the 30s and before, 40s, because those were small little countries in Europe are not equivalent to what we have here. So like what we would have here is a breaking apart. Each state possibly holding its own until they can like figure out who to align with, and maybe 2-3 clusters of 3 or 4 states banding together, and no more federal government. And those little tiny nation states, like somehow formulating their own government, regional government, to help quell all of this human suffering and death that will happen. Think about the consequences. They're all in Washington talking about numbers, money. There is a huge human toll with this that has nothing to do with money. And like someone said, all they have to do is tax one billionaire 3% and to pay for all those programs that they're cutting, all that money that they want to cut. All they have to do is tax a billionaire, one billionaire 3%. So if you taxed all the billionaires, you tax each one of them 0.5%, and you'd overtop what you needed. That is what's going on. Because they don't care about that. They would, if they were forced to pay that 5%, they would. They want people to be desperate so they can be in charge. These are all the things I'm dreaming about. This is what my brain did the night of the contest. And I was having this panic attack where I'm running around the house trying to make plans. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Because I saw so much suffering coming from them. It's not, I have to say, I'm not sure it was a future telling. It was a reading of this energy, that darkness that came over us, that was the impetus of the 4 a.m. club. Because I was already awake. My calling was that morning of the contest at 4 a.m. when I had the dream of Hecate. But this was the night of. And I was in the most severe panic attack because their energy, the egregore it created, and it created an egregore. This desire of this destruction is an entity amongst itself. It is their god. They've created a god of chaos and destruction that they are currently worshiping. And they have not named it. It's like just a culmination of their desires. And I felt that, and it told me what it wanted. And I am reading right now that man's brain and his desires right now. And he has shifted from useful idiot to bloodlust. And he wants to be feared now. And now you know why I can't share this over there. This is very, very, very big. And this is why the people inside are hearing, and action is coming. Action is coming. I think I will link on here. I'm going to play a video by that one gal. It was removed, but I downloaded it, and I'm telling you, I feel like they're watching me so intently that whenever someone posts a video that is edgy, and I happen to see it, they see it, and it goes bye-bye, because two times I had watched a video and 15 minutes later it was gone. Although she could have pulled it down herself, but I doubt that. So I'm going to tack on her video here. This is the gal I said at the beginning. And I'll come back and talk to you about that.
Good Monday morning, everybody. I hope everybody's Monday is starting off good. The sun was shining this morning. It's supposed to be warmer today. We've needed it after this deep, dark winter. So I'm going to go into a little bit of detail about things here that are going to be hard to explain without exactly explaining how I got my information. So all I'm going to say right now is that I have a friend that is in the deep circle of the government and has been for many years. I've known this person the majority of my life. I know that they are a credible source. So I'm going to do as much to give you information about this as I can without jeopardizing them or their job or their safety. This person reached out to me over the weekend because they know I have been a vocal proponent for what is going on right now, and I have been telling people that the resistance has to become violent at this point. And what I mean by that is fear can create complacency, and that is what they want, because everybody's like, oh, if we go out there and we start rising up and we start getting violent, they're going to declare martial law. No, listen, you are voluntarily giving them martial law right now by not using our power to its fullest extent, right? Okay. Now that I've got that out of the way, this friend of mine is, like I said, very deep in the inner workings of the government, and they are a very credible source. This person is basically like family to me. They have informed me that there are a lot of things going on behind the scenes, and the flood the zone technique that the Trump administration is using right now is very strategic. And we all know that, and there have been plenty of videos going around about it, and Steve Bannon specifically stating that they needed to flood the zone so they keep us distracted and overwhelmed, and that is how they can go ahead and do the things that they really want to do out of the spotlight, because we're so focused on all of these other things and making content about this, and it's meant to create us to go into trauma mode, which a lot of us disassociate when we're in trauma mode. This friend of mine has told me that there are a lot more whistleblowers behind the scene than any of us realize. And this doesn't just include Democratic whistleblowers. This includes people that are involved with the current administration that are terrified of what they're seeing and hearing on the inside. There are people inside the Department of Justice that are whistleblowers. There are people inside the FBI, the CIA, state, federal, and Supreme Court judges. Okay? There are a lot of people that have given them a lot of credible information. And everybody always asks why Kamala conceded so quickly after the election and why she didn't demand a hand recount or a forensic recount or any of these things. Now, this person is also friends with Kamala Harris and has been for quite a while. They explained to me that there are gears that are being run right now. And those gears have to, it's like a game of Jenga, okay? Let's switch from the gears theory to the game of Jenga. If you've ever played it, or if you don't know what it is, it's the game where you have the little like rectangular blocks that you crisscross stack all the way up, and you have to start pulling it out piece by piece without the tower falling over. And right now, they're at a point where the tower is starting to teeter, so they have to be strategic about which pieces they take and which ones they have to leave in place. That being said, what is happening in the resistance from the inside is very, very strategic. And I say this because, so I'm trying to find the right words to say this without giving away too much information. They did not want a repeat of J6 because it was chaotic, it was crazy, it changed people's lives forever. It created a lot of trauma for a lot of people. And could you imagine if she had contested those results, what would have happened? Especially to the liberals. There are a lot of different pieces that have to come together in order to make sure that the people that are trying to dismantle our government will never be allowed to see the light of day again. Because we all know that there is a lot of corruption inside of this administration. That corruption is going to try to help this administration stay in power at all cost because it benefits them financially. But that does not mean that the resistance on the inside is falling apart. And what I'm asking for everybody to do, and I'm talking about all of my liberal friends, and I am also talking about the people that voted for MAGA that are now starting to understand the dangers that are happening, whose lives are starting to be affected. And I say this in the most sincere way. The FAFO movement, we have every right to feel angry and to lash out at these people that voted for him that are now reaping the benefits, the shitty benefits of this administration because their lives are being personally affected by it. And there are a lot of people out there that say, oh, too bad, so sad. And I understand that feeling, and I'm not saying that's not a valid feeling because I still feel that way. However, the government has to take time in order to be able to take this tower down strategically. It has to be dismantled with all of the right pieces falling into place before they can strike. Because if they don't, There is going to be a lot of corruption inside the inner workings of this government that will do everything by any means necessary to hold on to that power. So they essentially need all of the evidence to lock them up and throw away the key, so to speak. And we are teetering on the verge of that as we speak. However, my friend has also advised me that we should get loud. Now is the time to start becoming physical. If you're going to go to protests, if you own pew-pews, take as many of them with you as you can. Look at your state laws as far as open and conceal carry. In the state of Ohio, you can open and conceal carry without a license. I don't know the laws of every other state. I know everybody's different, so please look into those. But whatever you do, if you don't own pew-pews, there are other means of protection, and you should take as many of them with you as you can. And if you don't own a pew-pew, I would advise right now to go to a gun show and not to a federal firearms dealer, because if you buy from a federal firearms dealer, they can trace it back to you. They can come for your protection. Gun shows only do minor background checks, and you only have to be 21 to buy it. You do not have to you have to register it with the state, but it is not legally required to federally register it. So be patient, go out, get pissed, get loud, bring larger numbers than we've ever seen. That's all I'm going to say.
I thought it was really important that you saw what her message was. That was removed off of the clock app. She put a video out today that she heard from her source. I'm going to put that here. I'm going to put that next here. Let me put that in there.
Wanted to stop in for a quick update. This is going to be super short, super sweet. Heard from my insider today, very briefly, not a whole lot of detail, but they did say March 7th is going to be a day to look out for things. I don't know the significance of it. I don't know any of the details of it. So if I find out more, I will be happy to let you guys know. But as of right now, that is all that I know. There is something big that is going to happen on March 7th. I don't know what it is, but stay tuned.
So that's not a psychic. That's someone with information. And I think we just need to keep it mindful that maybe prepare what you can do. I think it might get wild and woolly for 3-4 weeks. I'm supposed to travel on the 13th, and I'm like, I may not. I actually feel like it's not happening. I made the travel plans with joy in my heart to like feel normal, to do something normal, and to try to make future plans. And I feel like we're in stasis, like it's like grinding to a halt. Our lives, everything that's kind of like, and we can feel it. But we've created a really great community, and we are sharing information, and whatever happens, we know something has to happen, and it should happen, and we need to be louder. Even like I said, just in a video today, I said, go make a sign, get some butcher paper, your leftover can of household paint that's half hard and gooey, that it doesn't matter how good the paint is, get a paintbrush, and you paint the message you want to paint to put out there. What are they not talking about that you want to say? I want to say, this is eugenics. This is killing people. All the distractions of budgets and student loans and blah, 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 blah. The human factor has to be talked about now. People need to quit thinking of abstracts, and that's why people turn off. But when you say, screw the budget, when all this disappears, people are gonna die. Grandma's gonna have to come live with you again. Your child won't have any SPED services at their school. There will not be a paraprofessional for them. Your sick child will not have Medicaid for cancer treatment. People need to think of it as human terms. So make your signs accordingly and go find a freeway overpass, and you stand there with your sign for an hour. Get some friends who are like-minded, and if a police officer comes up to you, say, yes, sir, we're just here for a little bit, sharing our opinions. We will move along. That's fine. Then go find another one. Depending on your city, depends on what police are like in your city. Some are worse than others. My city, I love my police department. There's some bad ones in there, of course, but they have done a very good job of vetting their police officers, the new ones that are coming in. It's extremely diverse and female heavy. And I know some people that thought they were going to go in and be big, tough, butch men and talk about other races in derogatory terms, and they got kicked out of the academy. So I'm telling you, my city is different. It's a little different, and I'm praying it holds that way. Doesn't mean it's perfect, but it's better than most. I have to say that. It's better than most. Not perfect, but better than most. So I feel like use your pasty privilege. If you have pasty privilege, you get to use your voice in a different way. Use the pasty privilege. Okay? We have homework to do. Now is the time. And as a psychic and feeling this energy and feeling the building of it, and it's been the waiting. It's as Tom Petty says, the waiting is the hardest part. And it has been, because we just are like banging our heads with the knowledge that this is just bad. This is getting bad and worse. But we have to be loud. And so if you do get signs up, you send people out to drive and video and have them post it on their social media. And you ask your friends, you call your family, you ask your friends, videotape anybody doing anything with a sign, doing protest, videotape it and get it on social media. That is your requirement right now. It's peaceful. It's quiet. It's so much better than going to your capital on a Saturday when everything's closed. Or during the week when everybody's working. We are doing localized protesting, like that guy on my page who was protesting in front of Charles Koch's house. His estate, actually. It's not just a house. It's an estate on a busy street. He was there today. My friend said, oh, there's a guy with a sign. It says something about oligarchs. I'm like, oh yeah, that's the dude that hates Charles Koch. He's out there every day with his signs. That's all you have to do, guys. Do it for 4 hours on the busiest street in front of a mall. Be brave. Nothing's going to happen to you usually. I mean, just be brave. Get people with you. If you're a bunch of women, find some big gay man who is there with you that looks intimidating. One of my best friends who's gay is 7 foot tall. He is a big guy. He's 7'2". He looks very intimidating. Find your people. And you go have arts and crafts time and you make your signs. Okay. That's your assignment for the first 2 weeks of March. We got to get loud, and this is how we do it, localized. These protests of just, big organized protests with people standing up there talking, you're standing there in the heat with the sign or the cold with the sign. No, you go find a freeway overpass closest to your house and you stand there with the sign hanging. Okay? Simple, beautiful, small, and make it a thing. All right, have a good day, night, weekend, whenever you see this, whenever. It's fine. All right, bye.